FightCon is happening October 3rd and 4th at the Salt Lake Convention Center here in Salt Lake City. And today I got a very special guest on the line. I got Ari with Invictus Jiu Jitsu. He is the director and operator. How you doing today?
I'm good, Dre. Thanks for having me on, man.
Absolutely. Now I did mention October 3rd and 4th. Are you there both days or just one day?
No, we're coming in. I'm coming in on the Thursday on the 2nd, and then we have our seminar on the 3rd, and then I'm going to hang around on the 4th so I can check out stuff. So I'm really excited.
Awesome. It's going to be a full weekend. I'm excited to have you here in town. Are you where are you located?
So I'm on the west coast of Canada, in a city called Victoria in British Columbia.
I am very familiar. I lived in Portland for 10 years, so I bounced Tacoma. Northwest is my friend. I was looking for Sasquatch. Didn't find him though.
Yeah, I'm still looking too.
Hey, can you tell us a little bit about Invictus Jiu Jitsu, what it is, and how it was created?
Yeah, you bet. So the actual name for it is Invictus Law Enforcement Officer Jiu Jitsu Collective. And basically, it's a group of cops that got together and wanted to share their knowledge and basically talk about the importance of Jiu Jitsu for law enforcement. So my partner and co-founder of Invictus, his name is Jason Repsch. He's down in Austin, Texas. We decided in 2019 to create this collective because there was all these pockets around the country which were talking about, hey, cops should be involved or you should do jiu-jitsu. And then we just wanted to be the hub and get people kind of involved that way. So that's where and when it was created. It didn't even have a name when we first started. It was a hashtag, and the hashtag was BJJ Make It Mandatory, because we wanted to make jiu-jitsu mandatory for police officers around the country. Because when you know how to handle somebody and arrest, then what happens is use of force, injuries go down for both officers and suspects. So we think it's a really important cause. And we've seen massive changes in the last 6 years since we've started. To be fair, jiu-jitsu has been around for a very long time. There's been cops that have been teaching it for a super long time, but we were all in these little pockets. And now we've all come together and we're all starting to talk about it. And so now there's more companies than ever that are training cops.
What has been the reception from law enforcement on these classes?
It depends who you ask. So some administrations are really good about it. Some are caught in the archaic past and they just don't want to look at it. So we literally have studies and stats that show the effectiveness of jiu-jitsu and how use of force injuries go down and how effective it is. So science, they can't really go against the stats and the science anymore, but some do. I would say the people who are involved, they're super passionate and they are talking to other people about it. And our goal basically is we want the old guard to retire. Right. So the people with the old ways, and they eventually will. And the people who are coming into the use of force within these departments are jiu-jitsu black belts. So it is changing and it just takes time.
Ari said, move out the way. I love it.
Totally. Yeah.
So one thing that I've always being around combat sports, especially jiu-jitsu, my friends have always told me that it brings more confidence. Do you feel like it changes the mentality of officers once they get these tools?
Oh, massive. I mean, I think that's one of the biggest things that you talk about martial arts, not just for cops, but the ability to control someone who doesn't want to be controlled is a massive superpower, to be honest. And I think the confidence is probably one of the biggest benefits of doing jiu-jitsu. It doesn't matter if you're a civilian or a cop.
What was your introduction to martial arts?
I'm going to give you the very brief story, but when I was 9 years old, I was in Las Vegas. I was with my parents and we were walking through a casino and I saw Chuck Norris standing in the lobby of this casino. And I was a big martial arts fan back then. And I said, Dad, that's Chuck Norris. And he's like, well, do you want to go talk to him? And I was like, no, I don't want to go talk to him. So my dad dragged me over there and I tugged on Chuck Norris's arm. And I said, excuse me, sir, I'm a big fan of yours. And Chuck Norris looks down at me as a 9-year-old kid and he says, do you do the martial arts? And I said, no. And he goes, what's your name? And I said, Ari. And he goes, well, Ari, when you start the martial arts, you can never stop. So next year I started as a kid, as a 10-year-old, and I started doing judo, went into Aikido, then moved into Japanese Jiu Jitsu, and then to 10th Planet Jiu Jitsu, and then to Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And I've never stopped. So that's how I got introduced to martial arts. Chuck Norris, true story.
10 years. Now, what kind of Chuck Norris? Is this Texas Ranger Chuck Norris or
Oh
is
yeah.
this the Dragon? Oh,
No, it's before that. So I'm 51. So we're talking about that's going to be Braddock missing in action. It's going to be the Octagon. It's like early 80s, So that was 1983, 84. So that's the vintage that we're talking about.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So many different disciplines that you studied. Which one have you done the longest?
Jiu-jitsu.
Forever.
Well, jiu-jitsu, it's probably Japanese jiu-jitsu, but because I've been at it consistently for over 30 years now. So,
wow. Was jiu-jitsu big in Canada?
yep. Obviously, the United States has more practitioners because it's a larger thing. And when I started, it wasn't super popular, but now it's exploded. It's one of the fastest growing martial arts in the world, and for good reason, I think. So,
Are you in law enforcement as well?
yeah. So I've been in law enforcement for 11 years. I was involved in jiu-jitsu, obviously, before I started as a police officer. And so I became a cop 11 years ago and haven't looked back since. So my passion and my goal, along with Jason and others in Invictus, are basically just to spread this message. And when we do seminars too, it's not just like we do arrest and control and stuff, but we also love the sportive aspect of jiu-jitsu. So we show things that aren't self-defense or like real world. We'll do sports stuff too because we love it. So it's jiu-jitsu in general is our kind of goal to push to everyone.
Do you guys work at all with firearms? I mean, I'm thinking law enforcement. I'm thinking different techniques and stuff. Do you guys practice any holds or anything like that with firearms?
Yeah. So what we do is, police jiu-jitsu is kind of a subset of Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and not to confuse the matter, but basic police jiu-jitsu, we have different rules of engagement than, say, a self-defense situation or military. So our job is to arrest and control. So the things that we need to do is we have to be able to arrest someone. We have to learn takedowns. We have to learn how to strike. We have to learn how to protect from strikes. We have to learn weapon retention, which includes knife and firearm. So what happens when you're in the middle of a conflict and someone ends up grabbing your firearm? What do you do with that? What happens if they pull a firearm in the middle of an arrest? How do you deal with that? So these are all the things that we combine in kind of the police jiu-jitsu world. There's a ton of really awesome companies. Everyone thinks that Invictus is a company that we go around and teach. We do teach, but there are actual companies that focus on it. So like Officer Survival Series, which is based in Connecticut. My friend Rob McGow, he's involved with that. Chad Lyman, C4C, PJJ, he's one of the best trainers in the country. So there's tons. There's not just them, but there's tons. And so we collaborate with them as well, and we're seeing really good results.
That's awesome. Have you had any of your students like go on and compete more than just their own self benefit, but to go on and maybe do a tournament or even MMA?
Yep. We just held one of our camps in Lake Tahoe, and we had something called the Invictus Invitational. And what it was is it was an 8-man invitational, and we invited either retired or active police officers who were black belts to fight in that tournament. And then they got to win the belt and everything like that. So there's a ton of competitors out there that are cops that are actively doing IBJJF and lots of different tournaments. So it happens.
You mentioned Lake Tahoe. I seen on your website you guys got something, Lake Tahoe Camp of 2026. What's that?
So that's going to be the 3rd annual Lake Tahoe camp. We've held it twice already. And so basically it's a massive camp that we have, and cops from around the country come to Lake Tahoe. I don't know if you've ever been to Tahoe, but it is absolutely beautiful. And we set up the mats and we end up doing jiu-jitsu for 4 days. And then we hang out together. And it's a good way to kind of market and just hang out and network. So that's what it is. That's our big camp that we have once a year. And then we do small seminars kind of around the country the rest of the year.
Starting this Invictus, starting it as a group and as a collective, I guess you would say, how hard was that? What was the big challenge of getting this thing off the ground?
I don't know. I don't think there's a challenge per se, because social media has really brought all of us together. So that was kind of an easy thing. Once you kind of start a Facebook group, it starts to grow from there. We have an Instagram channel. And so people just start going, hey, it's Invictus, I want to join. And so that wasn't the hard part. The hard part is getting cops who don't want to train because there's more of them like that than there isn't. The biggest excuses for cops are, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I want to spend time with my family, so I don't want to train. And there's all these excuses. But the problem is you're going to work every day, and you literally, your job is to protect yourself and to protect others. If you can't do that, you have a massive deficiency in policing. And so we are trying to push that message, how important it is. And there's this kind of bias out there that people think it's a confirmation bias. And the confirmation bias basically is nothing bad has ever happened to me on the job, so nothing will happen to me on the job. But the problem is you don't choose the day chooses you. So you never know when it's going to happen. You know, you might work in a small town, everything's totally cool, and all of a sudden there's an active shooter or something happens, or you're in a fight and backup is 5 minutes away. What are you going to do then? So this is a real thing. It's really serious, and we try to push that message to people.
It's really surprising. It sounds like is there no funding for these officers? Like, for money to be an issue, it doesn't sound like that should be an issue. It sounds like departments should implement that in their budgeting.
Dre, you're a smart man, and that's what we have been trying to push. Some departments do it, most do not. So no one wants to train their own dime on their own time. And I did it for years. A lot of cops do, but there are even departments who are willing to pay. A lot of officers are like, man, I don't want to. I don't think it's fun, or I just don't have time. And they get lazy about it. And we get a lot of, I don't know if hate is the right word, but we're ruffling feathers by saying what we're saying because it's important. And you really can't argue against it. And so I just don't understand why people don't train.
I'm sitting here thinking about everything you're saying, and everything you're saying is a benefit, right? Like it's insurance, right? It's the knowledge to know that if you end up on your back, or if you end up in a situation, you have the tools to best get you out of that situation, and not only protect yourself, but to protect your community as well.
Totally. And insurance actually is a really good analogy for that, because, you know, you pay for the insurance, you might not need it, but when you do need it, you're pretty happy that you had it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I got a flat tire in my car right now. Like I'm about to go hit AAA. Got to pay those premiums, right?
Totally, right?
Yeah, and I would love to see a whole competition. Who's the best jiu-jitsu cops in the, well, you guys are in Canada, but in America?
What do you mean by best? I mean, that's like me saying who's the best MMA fighter in the world.
John Jones. I got an answer. Whoever makes it to the top. You have a tournament.
Yeah.
And whoever taps, or whoever goes to sleep, obviously they're out of the bracket.
Yeah.
Is it South Dakota? I think Utah law enforcement will take the cake. I'm a little biased.
So there are, I'm not trying to be politically correct here, or because I don't give a shit about stuff like that, but there are so many good cops out there. And there's a thing in jiu-jitsu basically where we call it jiu-jitsu math, where A beats B, right? And then B beats C, but C beats A. So it's like, it's a weird thing. Like, it's not one guy who's running through everyone else typically. There are just so many really good cops out there, and styles make fights, as you know. So it just depends on what your matchup is like with someone else. So there's a lot. We have a buddy of ours, Dylan Royce, and he's awesome. He actually was at the Invictus tournament and at Tahoe, and he did really well. The winner of this year's tournament, though, was a guy out of Boston, and his name was Dan Simler, and he won this year. And Dan was on the early UFCs, believe it or not, and he's a monster. So he's awesome. I love all the guys.
But you have a favorite?
I don't have a favorite. I honestly don't. I just, you know who the winner is? The fans.
Okay. Talk about politically correct. We'll give you that, Ari. We'll give you that. Hey, we do have FightCon happening October 3rd and 4th at the Salt Palace Convention Center. You can get your tickets, fightconexpo.com. What should we expect from your seminar when we come in at the Salt Palace?
We're really excited actually to be in Utah, because Invictus has never been to Utah or to Salt Lake. I've been to Salt Lake before, but the actual company has never been there. So Jason and I are looking forward to being there. We're going to be teaching arrest and control measures. We're going to teach some sport jiu-jitsu. It's open to law enforcement. And it's also open to civilians who support law enforcement. So it will be a good 2-hour seminar with a lot of fun stuff that we're going to do. It's going to be no gi. You don't need any kit with you. You just need to show up, get tickets through FightCon. And we're looking forward to actually building a relationship with FightCon, because I just think this is an amazing event and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm sad you didn't get to experience it last year, but you're gonna be able to experience it this year. There's tons to do. There's so much knowledge and just education along combat sports and self defense and everything that you guys are doing. You guys bring a great element to it. I'm really excited to see what you guys bring to the show.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So we're looking forward to it. We've got some good tricks that we're going to bring to the mat. So, and it's a big event. Like, I looked at the actual layout, it's crazy.
Oh yeah, the whole Salt Palace. The Salt Palace is a huge venue, and to fit everything that's going on, you have to have a big place. And so there's going to be so much to see and do and learn.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about it. Um, being in law enforcement, what is the biggest misconception about law enforcement?
Wow, that's a great question. The biggest misconception. Well, I don't think this is a misconception, but I'm going to give you some numbers here. So the average person in their life will usually have about 7 events in their life that are considered super stressful. So like a death in the family, or you witness like a horrific car crash, that type of thing. So that's the average for the average person over their lifetime. Police officers over a 20-year career are involved in about 700 incidents, critical incidents over that time. So you can imagine all of that stuff that comes into our brains and the stuff that we see. And I tell my wife stories and things like that. And some of the stories that law enforcement officers encounter are unbelievable, and you couldn't even make it up. It's crazy. So the ability to de-stress and to just check your mental health is really important. And I'm a massive proponent for people who need to take care of themselves, not just physically, but mentally. And to tie this into jiu-jitsu, having a physical outlet and to use it, it is a massive benefit. So that's one of the reasons that we're advocates for jiu-jitsu, because it really does help to kind of get that pressure away from your mind after seeing all the stuff that we see on the street.
How do we get an Invictus gi? You guys got some sweet gis.
Yeah, we've produced a ton. We've produced a lot of gis over the years. We don't have any right now. So every year we come up with like a new kind of addition. We do rash guards as well. So we've had a ton. So we're going to probably launch in the fall. We'll do another run of Invictus gis.
I love it. So I was searching, I was snooping, if you will, on your website,
Yeah.
and I seen that you guys had a podcast. What happened to the podcast? Is the podcast coming back? It's been a few years.
So we did a podcast. It was the Invictus podcast, but Jason and I, we basically got very busy and stuff. And then because he's transitioned, he's retired, but now he's training down at the police academy down there as a contract civilian. But I do a new podcast with my buddy Chad Lyman called the No Zoo Lions podcast. And it's basically about jiu-jitsu and also about law enforcement. So we do that. And then I have a side one that I'm relaunching, which is called the Geek Assassin, which has nothing to do with fighting, but I'm a massive 80s guy. So it's basically about 80s culture and stuff like that. So yeah, it's still there.
It's nothing but Chuck Norris. That's all you're going to get is just Chuck.
Yeah.
Man, I'm a product of the 80s, grew up in the 90s, and mine was Jean-Claude Van Damme. If I could have had that moment with Jean-Claude, that would have made my day.
We need to have him as speaker at FightCon. How about that?
Yeah. We need to tell Rob, right? Rob, let's get all of our favorite 80s and 90s action stars. That is something that we are missing, though, like in general, like in just pop culture, is an action star. Mm-hmm. I think the last one was probably Jason Statham, right?
Oh, you like a modern? Well, I would argue that you have Keanu Reeves for John Wick now.
Yeah, true. But was Keanu before? Was John Wick was after all of those Jason Statham movies.
Oh, he was. Right. Yeah, he was. It was like 2014, I think, was the first John Wick. So, but I would say like that's kind of a modern one. Yeah. Obviously, the action heroes have changed from like this to Keanu Reeves. So who does jujitsu, by the way?
Really?
Yep.
Is he good?
Yeah, he is. Like you should see the training. Look him up after we're done this. Go look up and you'll see his training stuff. It's awesome. His shooting is amazing.
All right. You said Aikido, so I was thinking of Steven Seagal. No disrespect, Steven. You were one of my favorites. You broke all the bones, but
yeah, Steven Seagal is actually I got involved with Aikido because of Steven Seagal. I saw his films and I was like, what is this? This is really weird. But I think he kind of went off the deep end.
yeah. All right. Now he's doing law enforcement. Didn't he do like a law enforcement TV show?
It was the worst ever, Dre. It was so bad. It was so bad.
Oh, Ari, that's hilarious. Okay, so I was, we're coming up on an anniversary of 9/11/2001, right? It's been 24 years. Where were you that day?
I was at home in my living room when it came on the TV.
What was the feeling like?
I think the feeling was like just everyone else. It's like kind of bewilderment and like, is this really happening? And what does the world look like? I remember that after it happened, I remember saying to my wife, I was like, how we handle things is going to change. Like it was kind of like a loss of innocence, to be honest. And you saw kind of a shift there. And then all the information that came out afterwards, and like who knows? It's crazy. So crazy time. So
I always wondered that being outside of the United States, because being an American, it was very, very, and I was in 6th, 7th grade during that time, maybe 8th grade.
yeah.
And it's just like, holy smokes. And coming up on the anniversary, I've been asking people like where they were, what they felt,
Mm-hmm.
especially not being an American.
You know what? So for me, because I'm actually I'm Canadian and I'm American as well because of my mom. So I'm a dually. But besides that, I don't think it mattered. Like when Canadians saw that happening, they were horrified, just like most of the world was. So yeah, we're in a weird place now, like how things have changed, but how things have remained the same, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it hasn't changed for me. I got one of my best friend lives in Toronto. His name's not Drake though. If his name was Drake, I'd ask him for a couple dollars.
Yeah, totally.
Hey, do you still compete?
No, I'm my competition days. I was never a massive competitor. I love jujitsu for the sake of jujitsu. I did it in my early blue belt days, and then I just kind of turned in. I was instructing full time because I had a school for 18 years, a commercial space, so that was taking up a ton of my time. And so I'm a teacher by trade. I would say that my grappling ability is probably average, and like you tap people and you get tapped. That's just how it is. But I'm no world class guy by any means. But I'm trying to be the best instructor that I can possibly be. So I surround myself with these amazing instructors and friends, and I just try to pick things up from them.
What is a challenge being a coach or an instructor?
The amount of energy that it takes to teach other people is a lot. The mental fatigue that it takes, I wouldn't change anything about it. My goal is I think your goal as a coach is to teach. You shouldn't hold anything back, and your job is to teach students to beat you. So by giving them everything you have, and then hoping that they can carry on their own legacy, they can teach people. And so that's my goal, is just to. My instructor used to say, his name was Keith Owen, and he passed a couple years ago, but he used to say he wanted to make average people killers, quote unquote, right? And it's not about opening up and wanting John Jones type of people to come into the club, because that's not the majority of the people who are doing martial arts. 99% of the people doing it are average people. They're accountants, they're doctors, they're cops, whatever. But once you start teaching them, they have the superpower, and they can do some remarkable things. And so that's kind of the goal for teaching for me.
I got to be 100% honest. When you said that you were in Canada and that you had the love for Chuck Norris, I was thinking to myself, is this guy a Bret Hart guy?
Depends on what era of Bret Hart. So I was a Bret Hart guy. But he complains so much now. It's crazy. I was a massive wrestling fan. Were you?
Oh man, I got a wrestling podcast. It's called the Figure Four Podcast. I'm neck deep into pro wrestling.
Okay, Dre, I'm going to throw you a little trivia thing. I'm going to see if you can answer it. Okay, it's called the Figure Four. Who is the
Yes.
most famous person who did the Figure Four leg lock?
Ric Flair.
Yes, good.
Yeah.
Well, it's just, like there's a few that did it. So, what's the best finishing move in wrestling?
Oh, the best finishing move in wrestling. So I go from a tombstone pile driver.
Yep.
But I also am I'm a razor's edge kind of guy too. Like falling backwards without knowing where you're landing, that's scary. What's yours?
I did like the sharpshooter, I have to say, and
Okay.
the camel clutch was really cool too. So, one more trivia thing for you. And who was Andre the Giant legitimately scared of?
Andre the Giant was legitimately scared of snakes. Wasn't Jake the Snake? It
Nope.
was what was it?
No, there's an actual wrestler that he was legitimately scared of because of how tough this wrestler was.
Oh, were they in WCW or WWF?
WWF. So it was Haku.
Really?
And do you know the story about Haku?
Nah.
Okay, so you need to look it up. I'm not going to take too much time on this podcast, but Haku was probably the toughest guy in wrestling, and across the board, people talk about how dangerous he was. He bit off a guy's nose in a real fight, and Andre the Giant was legitimately scared of him because of how tough he was.
Wow.
So there you go.
I love it, man, and I'm excited to have you at FightCon again, October 3rd and 4th. You're gonna be there. You're gonna be doing a seminar for Invictus.
Yep.
Get your tickets right now. FightConExpo.com. Where can the people follow the Instagram, the website, and everything like that?
If you go on our website is invictusleo.com, or you can find us on Instagram, which is Invictus LEO official. You just have to type it in, it will come up. And those are our two main platforms. So
your social media looks phenomenal. You guys do a really good job at that. I just gave you guys a follow. So definitely go give them a follow. And remember, come out FightCon October 3rd and 4th. But the seminar for Invictus is going to be at 3:30, correct?
That's correct.
3:30, FightConExpo.com, Invictus, LEO.com as well. Ari, I appreciate your time, my man. It's been really fun.
Thanks, Ray.